What is up, Earthnoids and Space Noids? I am just a simple new type, and in this episode, we're covering the prequel manga, Mobile Suit Gundam Unicorn, Bande Dessinee, Episode 0. You French words! If you ever wondered how Full Frontal stole Sinanju Stein from Anaheim Electronics, this manga is for you. We will go into the conspiracy behind Anaheim Electronics, EFF, and Zeon as they keep the military-industrial complex going. So let's get into this. The Gyaradoga Full Frontal Use breaks into a Klopp-class ship. The AMS-119C Gyaradoga Full Frontal Use is an experimental high-performance variant piloted by Full Frontal. This unit's armor is reinforced, which greatly changes the balance of this mobile suit. It is equipped with a beam sword axe, the Gyrazulu beam machine gun, the Gyaradoga's beam machine gun, and a shield, which stores a grenade launcher and a Sturmfaust. He steals the Sinanju Stein. This incident occurred on June 15th, UC 0094. Two Klopp-class cruisers, the Unkai and the Radels, were destroyed by Neo-Zeon forces, and they took the ship's cargo. 400 plus people were killed in action during this event and was the greatest armed threat since the end of Char's rebellion. Alberto Vist, aka the Fat Unicorn, tests the Sinanju Stein with his assistant. They speed through the obstacle course and proceed with weapons testing. The AI system is running at 50%. AI in this case is Automatic Intention System, not Artificial Intelligence. Later, his assistant tells him that even though this gives him great skills with zero effort, people who haven't undergone extensive training can't go over 50% without breaking a few bones and damaging internal organs. She goes into detail about the automatic intention system being able to transform mental images into precise movements faster than any control systems. No other mobile suit matches this one. Alberto says, well, not until RX-0 at least. He tells his assistant that this mobile suit is to be delivered behind the scenes, as if they have a new type already in mind. Alberto gets a phone call. It happens to be from his aunt, Martha Vist Carbine. He goes from happy to frightened the moment he realized it was his aunt. She tells him to make sure that no one is around when they make the deal. She says there is an intel leak that is specifically targeting the UC project. She also says a certain specialist might be sabotaging it. 1 month earlier, at Wilmington Marine Corps Base, an EFF soldier attends a party on the base with his nephew and sister. The sister's husband couldn't make it as he is on duty. Suddenly, the base is attacked by Hygogs. These were the same aquatic mobile suits used by the Cyclops team in War in the Pocket. The base forms a defensive line. Everyone at the party heads to the shelter. Two gyms go down quickly, but the defensive team, known as the White Team, rushes the Hygogs. One GM impales a Hygog. However, during the attack, the Hygog fires off its hand missiles, taking out everyone at the party. The father, who didn't attend the party, gets a phone call informing him of his family's death. Somewhere on the coast of North America, Carlos Craig preps his gun and kisses his cross while looking at a photo of his late family. A few CIA agents approach his house. The younger agent happens to be Daguza. They have intel that he should be here. They also have plainclothes agents surrounding the house. Daguza's partner refers to him as Godslayer. His partner, Rocio, knocks on his door and says that they have evidence of him accessing classified information. Carlos responds, telling Rocio that there was a cargo crate, that the CIA looked the other way while Zeon stole Anaheim Electronics made weapons. The same weapons used at Wilmington Base by the Hygogs. Also, side note, the CIA exists? Does the USA exist, or is it ran by EFF now? Also, the FBI handles domestic activity and the CIA handles foreign activity. Shouldn't it be the FBI? Did the Great War between the FBI and the CIA happen in this universe? This broke my brain, just like that one time Mashimer paid for a hotel room with a block of gold, and now I constantly question how money works in Universal Century. Two agents break down the door to find the place empty. It is just a speaker attached to the door. Carlos is monitoring the agents in a van nearby. He also placed explosions throughout the house. Carlos recognizes Daguza as a manhunter and a member of ECOWAS. A manhunter, ECOWAS, and the CIA? This dude is top brass. Too bad he got vaporized for a little boy. He says that the windows and floors are all monitored. If the pressure in the room changes, or the windows vibrate, or even if they yell too loud, it will activate the explosions underneath them. Carlos has men who round up all the agents surrounding the house. He explains that Wilmington Base was holding a birthday party with families. He wasn't the only one who lost loved ones that day. They force him into the house. Carlos refuses to ignore the backdoor dealings between EFF and Neo-Zeon. Remember, Anaheim Electronics became the military-industrial complex that strong-arms EFF into doing their bidding in the late 90s. He mentions EFF, but it is AE's doing technically. He plans on having them finish their investigation while flooding their teams with false documents, causing them to be held up for days analyzing false data. He leaves them, but has no intention of killing them, so he leaves them food and beverages. Is that Propel? He couldn't even get real Propel. He got the off-brand. What a cheapskate. Agent Rocio tells Daguza why Carlos is called the God Killer. He went around killing leaders of religious organizations with anti-EFF sentiments. Most happen to be rapists or murderers. He didn't just murder, but expose these organizations for what they truly were, hence the name God Killer. Once the incident in Wilmington occurred, something in him snapped. One thing to note is Carlos's wife, who was killed, was also a religious woman. He seemed to have gone from God Killer to killing in the name of God's wrath. Rocio wonders if he will meet God after they eventually will be forced to put him down. On the moon, Martha informs the Fat Unicorn that since the war with Neo-Zeon remnants are slowing down, so too are their profits, and the military-industrial complex must always be incentivizing a reason for war. EFF can't know of their involvement with Neo-Zeon. Alberto needs to kill the informant, Carlos. He has absolutely no idea how he is going to take down a spy. The same way you solve all your problems, Fat Unicorn. Just throw money at it. He realizes that things are about to get bloody. Meanwhile, on Palau, Full Frontal begins making moves, and Isaac is watching over a Musai-class ship docking with Palau. Many of the Neo-Zeon remnants are starting to hear rumors of the second coming of Shar. Others believe that it is just a crazy man. Regardless, this new captain is starting to make a lot of reforms in the military. 2 Gyaradogas with the extra sleeve shields are running a mock battle. Angelo Sauper is training 2 men when Full Frontal shows up with his custom Gyaradoga. He wants to have a mock battle with Angelo. The two engage in battle. Angelo chases and shoots. He thinks he's got a shot on Full Frontal, but he sneaks up behind Angelo and holds him at point-blank range, winning the battle. The 3 have been hired by Full Frontal as his guard. The 2 pilots talk about all the gossip going on about Full Frontal. They make a joke that you don't need to be a good pilot anymore. You just need a good plastic surgeon. Angelo tells them to stop joking around and that they should just be concerned about their duties. Full Frontal and the team return to Palau. Overlooking him in the hangar is Minerva and Merida. The 2 talk to Full Frontal and ask him if he really intends to take over the Federation transport ship. He does indeed plan on making an attack. She protests, claiming that they can't afford to lose any Neo-Zeon soldiers at the moment. He says that he literally hears the voices of the collective will of the people. It isn't a metaphor. He is burdened with thoughts. That sounds exhausting. I believe in the equality of space noids, but if I heard their collective voices in my head complaining about their equal rights nonstop, I might just become a Titans member. He tells her that the voice says that those who aren't loyal aren't needed. Essentially, join his sleeves faction or get left behind. Of course, he does wish that she comes to his cause. Zinnerman is with them as well, and he tells her that he heard he was brought over by Monahan Bakarov. One thing that flew over my head during our coverage of Narrative is that Monahan is the Republic of Zeon's Minister of Defense. But not only that, he is the son of Prime Minister of the Republic of Zeon as well as the former Principality of Zeon. As Garen assumed full control during the One-Year War, his father, Darchia Bakarov, was delegated to mainly upholding Parliament on Side 3. He is always in the background, but he certainly plays a bigger role in the manga, The Plot to Assassinate Garen. Go check out our coverage of that amazing manga. Regardless of how he got here, the fact that no one is looking into seeing whether or not he is the real Shar shows that the people are looking for a leader. Not only does it show that Zeon is looking for a leader, but it also demonstrates that Minerva herself still isn't up to the challenge of being a leader. Carlos sneaks into Anaheim Electronics and finds the container carrying the mobile suit that will be delivered to Neo-Zeon. Its codename is SS. Yeah, Sinanju Stein is a mouthful. I'm calling it SS from now on. They store SS onto Unkai. It leaves the moon with an escort ship, the Rawdells. This is their target. Carlos and his men plan on meeting Dakota Winston, a commander of the Mobile Suit Forces, on the Unkai. Carlos meets with Winston, who informs him that the Unkai is on a private dock not open to the public. He tells him of the conspiracy between Zeon, Anaheim Electronics, and EFF. Winston realizes that the EFF higher-ups threw his ship under the bus. Even if the captain is in the know, the crew members certainly aren't. They don't seem to care about human lives for this transaction to go down. Carlos briefs him on the plan. First, the bridge will order a systems check, during which they will leak false information that there is a virus on the Jagan Type D's operating system. Then Zeon attacks the Rawdells. This will be a distraction as the main forces go after the Unkai. Since system checks are happening, it will be difficult to mobilize. Zeon will surround the ship and tell them to hand over the cargo or be destroyed. Since the end of Char's rebellion, Anaheim Electronics have found it hard to do dealings with Zeon. So they use back channels and shady politicians to do business. The military-industrial complex has to military-industrial complex. It seems that Winston's brother and his family were at Wilmington Base the day of the incident, and this is ultimately his motivation for stopping the conspiracy. The next day, Winston sneaks Carlos and his team onto the Unkai as EFF soldiers. Angelo and his wingmen are taking out Jagan D-types, when suddenly a red Jagan comes in. It takes out his wingman. A swarm of Jagans come in and take out Angelo. He wakes up. It was all a dream. His bunkmates wake up as well. They all seem to experience what Angelo is experiencing since the loss of their comrade. He goes to the dining hall to get some water and breaks down crying while holding a rose. He thinks of his mother. He goes to the hangar to see Full Frontal working. He tells Angelo that he is doing systems checks to ensure victory. Angelo notes that he doesn't even look back when talking to him. Angelo wants Full Frontal to teach him his skills, but he suggests that he get some rest and focus on the mission. He finally looks back and wonders what the rose is all about. Angelo tells him that his mother really loved roses. A purple rose stands for pride, dignity, elegance, and respect. We flash back to the past where young Angelo hides in the closet while EFF soldiers rape his mother. I don't want to be in this flashback. Someone get me out of here. He is grateful to Full Frontal for giving a person like him an opportunity to partake in the mission, but he notes that no one knows about this second coming of Char. He is an illusion. Angelo says that he will follow orders, but he has no intention of giving his life for an illusion. Full Frontal tells him what he told Banana, that he is just a vessel. He never claimed to be Char Aznable. Char is a defeated man, and most importantly, a dead one. He takes off his mask. Angelo sees that he looks like Char, however. As for his question of being a great leader, well, hopefully this upcoming mission will prove him worthy. He looks forward to their future endeavors together and has high expectations for Angelo. Angelo realizes that his trembling has stopped. In the city of Globe on Side 3, similar to Merida Cruz, Angelo was child trafficked and was forced into prostitution. A man comes to visit him. He wonders who he is. In the present, Angelo suits up for the mission. Back on the Klopp-class ship, the Unkai, Winston meets with Carlos and his team who snuck on board the ship. He notes that there are 2 large containers on the ship, which most likely has mobile suits in them. The Anaheim Electronics technicians on board are hyper-vigilant. Everyone on the ship is on high alert. They were able to doctor the manifest, but if they start getting suspicious and investigate, it is only a matter of time until they are exposed. Carlos and the team wonder if they should plan on shooting down Neo Zeon one by one, but when the time comes, Winston will try to convince the Raudells and the Unkai crew and see if they can join their cause. The rest will be left up to Winston. He is going to deceive his team and knock them out and put them in escape pods. He doesn't want them to get involved for his burdens. After riling up the team, Winston tells Carlos not to forget his promise. He tries to get Carlos to talk, but he is a little short. Winston notices the cross that he wears. He wonders why he didn't go through the media or some other channel. He has connections within EFF and could get his story out there without resorting to what they are about to do. He says that EFF has its way of compartmentalizing everything, and that they would just say it's a conspiracy or some gray zone and simply write it off. Time would eventually pass and nothing would get done. It doesn't matter how much physical evidence they have. The case will be chewed up slowly until nothing is left. Winston can't believe that EFF would stoop so low. They would do whatever is necessary to cover it up, and it doesn't seem to be malice or hate. It is simply the scale at which EFF operates, making it the easiest and most efficient option. If this is the case, they most certainly should destroy the containers. Winston wonders what Carlos plans on doing after all this is over. It doesn't seem like he plans on making it out alive. Winston says that he isn't going to help him if that were the case. He pulls out his cross. He too is a man of faith. He tells him that God is testing him in this moment and he has to push through the pain. However, he isn't going to help him with suicide. It is a sin. He will, though, fight by his side if he chooses to live on. He says if he has nowhere to go, he can help him rent a room in his hometown when all this is done, but Carlos has to buy the beers. Full Frontal and his team head out in the Ray Lula. Merida, Minerva, and Zinnerman watch on. He gives his men a pep talk before the mission. Angelo is very determined. June 15th, UC0094. Angelo launches in the Gyaradoga Heavy Arm type. The AMS-119 Gyaradoga Heavy Arm type is a heavy variant of the Gyaradoga. It has a new backpack and 2 giant propellant tanks. Its main addition is the 200mm Lang Bruno gun. This is mounted on its backpack, which can rotate in and out when ready for use. Even when the sleeves upgrade to the Gyrazulu, this variant will still serve a purpose. Other weapons include a beam weapon, which can function as a beam sword, pick, or axe. It also has a beam machine gun, a shield mounted on the forearm, and a mega beam cannon. Some Zeon remnants are helping in the operation with some older mobile suits. The commander doesn't like the young Royal Guard. On the Unkai, an Anaheim Electronics mechanic is walking through the ship when Carlos chokes him out. He takes his laptop and cracks into it. He realizes what SS is. He can't believe they are giving this to Neo Zeon. They are almost at their target. Angelo and the Royal Guard are to go around the Raudels and restrain any defending mobile suit teams. The Zeon Remnant's commander and captain will head to the Unkai and find the mobile suits. It is important that they don't shoot down the ship. Angelo is butting heads with the Zeon Remnant commander. They will protect full frontal, but the Royal Guard wants to handle that duty. The commander says the only reason they are around is to save face and that they aren't needed. Angelo finds old war dogs quite odd. One thing is for sure, everyone is excited to see full frontal in action. They wonder if the captain is truly the second coming. Angelo says that he is a man of the Space Noids. He is fighting to restore Zeon, and if he isn't, he will kill full frontal himself. 3 minutes until contact. On the Unkai, Carlos shows Winston and the others the data on the mobile suit that he uncovered, the Sinanju Stein. They realize the power of this mobile suit. It can't fall into the hands of Neo Zeon. It shouldn't be in the hands of anyone. The crew chief walks in to the men looking very suspicious. He informs Winston that he wants them to rerun system checks on the Jagan Ds. Remember, they sent false information that a virus got uploaded. If they are running checks, that means the plan has begun. The captain of the Unkai goes to Red Alert and informs the Raudels. The Raudels seems to be unaware of the situation, while the Unkai crew seems to be in on it. The Jagans are inoperable while reformatting their OS. The sleeves approach the Unkai. The Unkai Jagans are down, but the Raudels launches their mobile suits. 2 forces engage in battle. The sleeves are being attacked from all directions. The Zeon Remnant commander tells Angelo not to push too far. The Raudel's captain tells the mobile suit forces to move in between the ships to support both ships with their mobile suits. Winston and his team are on standby in the Jagans while the mechanics reformat the mobile suits. Of course, these checks are not needed. Carlos is nervous. He is an intelligence officer, so he only had mobile suit simulator training and no real-world experience. Winston's team launches. The chief wonders how they were able to do that. The Unkai Bridge notices that they are launching without any orders. They try to stop his team. The crewmen try to stop them from launching as well. This guy is bold and thinks he could stop a mobile suit with his flesh and bones. Winston opens the hatch. Better hang on to something. He and the Dakota team launches. The Unkai commander, Gary Gansel, is furious. The Raudel's crew notices that the Unkai mobile suit crew was able to launch. They shouldn't have been able to do that. Now that Winston's team is there, Neo Zeon begins losing their edge, as EFF wasn't taking the fight seriously. The Zeon remnants realize that EFF is going off book. Carlos sends out a message to everyone. He tells them that he is from the CIA and that both crews need to start fighting back. He tells them that this is a conspiracy between the top brass of EFF and Anaheim Electronics. He lets them know that the bridge crew doesn't care about the rest of them and that the crew members should move forward with caution. Commander Gary opens up a line of communication and instantly denounces Carlos and says that this is false information. It's just as Carlos said. All mobile suits must return on his order. All the crew members wonder who is telling the truth. Winston then contacts his comrades and tells them that they could trust Carlos. There are experimental mobile suits that are to be given to Neo Zeon. This can't happen. The turret team seems to be the first to join Winston's side. The hangar mechanics also get some guns. When Winston returns to the ship, they are going to need defenses. The anti-ship turrets begin taking out Gyaradogas left and right. The Raudel's captain thought it was weird that there was no Minovsky particle dispersion. They plan on flanking the remaining Zeon mobile suits. After that, they will arrest the entire Unkai bridge crew. Angelo and the Royal Guard team watch as the Zeon remnants get destroyed. He laughs on the inside about the cocky Zeon remnant commander losing after talking a big game, but they must help their comrades in need. Angelo's team moves in. Angelo and his wingmen move in on the ships. He runs into Winston's team. All hell is breaking loose on the battlefield. He keeps referring to EFF's Type Ds as new mobile suits, so this must be his first interaction with the Type D Jagans. Also, you can certainly say that the Gerzulu will be designed as a response to these units. His wingman, Sergei and Quadan, is shot down just like his dream. Angelo begins panicking, and the lines between dreams and reality are blurred. Captain Sasai of the Raw Dells hails the Unkai. She tells them to respond or they will have to take action. Meanwhile, Carlos is still trying to get EFF to stop helping Zeon over the radio. He says that the mobile suit is a dangerous psycho machine that will upset the balance of power. Full Frontal comes on the radio and says all the more reason for him to take it. One Jagan goes down. Two Jagans go down in the blink of an eye. One Gyaradoga is able to do so much damage to a new model. Angelo asks Quadan if he saw the attack. We were seeing Angelo's nightmare earlier as Quadan is still alive. As he watches Full Frontal tear through EFF's mobile suits, Angelo notes that the attack is Char's 8-ship jump. These are moves of the Red Comet. If Ko was learning about Gato in the academy, you know Angelo had to take a course on Char tactics at some point. Winston gathers his men who begin panicking, thinking they are fighting the Red Comet. Full Frontal also gathers Angelo and the remaining men to push towards the Unkai. FF asks Angelo and his royal guard to cover him as he goes in. Just like last time, Angelo's nerves become calm. Regardless of who FF is, this is what a true leader does. He inspires his men. Winston and his men are struggling. He tells Carlos that they might have to resort to destroying SS. Winston's team and the remaining EFF pilots join up and redo their formation before pushing back on the sleeves. Full Frontal has made it to the Unkai. As the Unkai chief mechanic and his crew are prepping for a coup, Full Frontal shoots them all. Poor Unkai crew. No one ever listened to you guys and you all died being in the crosshairs of a conspiracy. Full Frontal opens the container and stares at Sinanju Stein. He says that the mobile suit is too much for a layman to handle. Carlos touches down on the deck of the Unkai. Full Frontal is still booting up the mobile suit. Carlos takes aim and shoots, knowing this will kill some EFF soldiers in the process. However, he is too late. The beam does nothing. Sinanju Stein activates. The MSN-06S Sinanju Stein is a part of EFF's reorganization plan, the UC project. This was Anaheim Electronics' mobile suit designed to test a lightweight psycho frame integrated into a movable frame. We will learn that this is a bad idea and creates a weapon of mass destruction beyond belief. This mobile suit is also equipped with the Psychoma system and the Intention automatic system. This allows the pilot to fully control the mobile suit with just their thoughts. In Unicorn, this weapon will be used to transcend time and space. This mobile suit is stated to be a design flaw, as it moves too fast for humans to use. In reality, it was designed for the best of the best new types. All the Unicorn Gundams fix this problem by injecting the pilot to handle all those Gs to the face. Weapons include 60mm Vulcans, 2 beam sabers, a high beam rifle capable of taking out a Klopp-class ship. It also has a shield which stores a beam cannon and missiles. Full Frontal takes out Carlos's arm. He says that he has been watching Carlos, and he is using an act of vengeance and covering up the fact with some false sense of justice. He says this is a common flaw with God-fearing men seeking vendettas. That was a subtle jab. I wish I was better at stuff like this. Normally I just call people or he says if you are going to seek vengeance, it takes someone like him who is willing to start a war. He realizes that the sleeves are planning something bigger than just a hijack. Full Frontal flies off with Carlos chasing. Carlos tells Winston that Sinanju Stein made its escape. FF heads back to the Raylula while Angelo takes care of the remaining cargo. Before he heads back, he is going to do a little bit of cleanup. Winston's entire team fires on Sinanju Stein. He vanishes from their view. SS is so fast and begins picking off Winston's team one by one. Winston wonders how he is so accustomed to such a powerful suit already. Only 4 units remain of Winston's team. The Zeon Remnant's old man yells at Angelo's team, but he says there is nothing for them to do. They played their part. The rest will be in the hands of Full Frontal. As EFF slowly dies on the battlefield, Carlos wonders if he made a mistake. Full Frontal begins attacking Winston, who is in a Stark Jagan. He notes that this unit is different from the other Type Ds. He slices off the Stark Jagan's head with his beam saber and then stabs through Winston's cockpit. His mobile suit is ripped open, but he is still alive. Half of his face is vaporized by the beam saber, however. Full Frontal goes in for a final kill, but Carlos pushes Sinanju Stein away. away from Winston. He instantly takes out his arms. Carlos wonders if he is the real Char Aznable. He tells him he is just playing a role. He says that everyone has a role, but he failed at his. People passionately follow justice and blindly call for wars to end, but they are the ones who ultimately get pulled into this war. Not understanding both sides of the coin is where he failed. The cross on his chest has led him astray. EFF realizes that they are going to use this incident to incite their war, and that Carlos's plan towards justice merely fueled the Sleeves' third Neo-Zeon war. Carlos rushes full frontal. He plans on self-destructing his mobile suit, but the Sinanju Stein stabs through the cockpit, killing Carlos and destroying the reactor before it went off. Angelo says that he is witnessing a legend. Full Frontal wonders if he passed Angelo's test of leadership. They have to do work on the mobile suit, but it will be a symbol of hope for Angelo and the other Sleeves. Angelo and his team grab the second container. I assume this is the Neo-Zeon. They begin making the retreat when FF gets a laser comm. It is Alberto Vist, aka the Fat Unicorn, sending an encrypted message. Although EFF suffered losses, he praises Neo-Zeon for their transaction. Full Frontal tells him that the situation has changed. He doubles back to the Unkai and the Raudels. He fires his beam rifle and destroys the Unkai. The Raudels takes evasive maneuvers and begins firing on Full Frontal, but Full Frontal fires and takes down the Raudels as well. Alberto demands to know what he is doing. FF says, "What are you talking about? We got rid of the evidence and the containers were delivered." This was surely everything he wanted. The Fat Unicorn realizes he is getting himself into some shit. It kind of makes you think why he didn't get arrested with Martha and Unicorn. He is equally to blame. He calls FF the second coming of Char. He isn't Char, but the second coming of Char has a nice ring to it. He decides to steal that for himself. This isn't some sense of justice. This isn't a way to show that Char has made his return. This is something that can't be described by EFF. It is something that has been living in the people of Zeon, hiding for ages, or as they put it, they are haunted by the ghosts of Zeon. It truly is something sinister. Back on Palau, everyone hears of the news of Full Frontal's victory. The morale of the people are vastly changed, and it seems that they are ready to fight for Zeon once again. Only 6 men were killed during this operation. Palau held a glorious funeral for their 6 people, treating them like saints. Conscription is up. The new Zeon soldiers cheer for Captain Full Frontal. Angelo is certain that this man has transcended humanity. He will become a god that cleanses the world of its filth. Full Frontal gets into the newly retrofitted Sinanju. And that will conclude Mobile Suit Gundam Bande Dessinee Episode 0. This is a nice little 3-volume story that gives you a great perspective towards this new Neo-Zeon's new intentions. Carlos, in his last moments, realized that his atonement for the death of his family was merely a small part of a greater problem. Anyone who experienced loss understands this. Your world slows down while the world around you continues and moves forward. He was humbled in his final moments by Full Frontal, which is interesting because Full Frontal was humbled by Banana's empathy. Or was it Ghost Lala? I don't know, it was vague. That being said, he said he was a vessel just trying to fulfill a goal. This dude did his thing, and when he was finished doing his thing, he died. Dude had a goal, and when he made it happen, he f***ed off. I respect that. Also, do you think that Winston is alive? The Unkai and the Raudels were destroyed, but the Mobile Suit team were probably left stranded. Let me know what you think. This is just a prequel manga to Unicorn Bande Dessinee, which we will eventually cover after finishing up Zeta Defined. We really need to cover more first Neo-Zeon war stories. Poor Double Zeta never gets any love. But that will do it for now, new types. If you want to be a leader, don't tell your subordinates what you can do. Show them. Peace.